It seems that Jagex is finally touching up on some graphical inconsistencies, so let's talk about it. Whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. As you might have noticed in the intro, some areas like Lumbridge and Varrock have received a graphical rework. Or not entirely. It's actually a visual refresh according to Mod BOK Witch. Mod BOK Witch and Mod Alex have been looking at giving a large part of the free-to-play areas in Runescape a visual refresh. I want to highlight the word visual refresh as this is not the same as a full rework. According to the mods, this would require a full multidisciplinary team months to pull off, and instead they wanted to go for a lightweight approach so that they can get some better looking areas much more quickly and easily. The changes included are updating the lighting, changing the terrain, and swapping out the spiky grass for new foliage. They mentioned that this is by no means a total rework, but with projects like this one, they can slowly bring more consistency to the overall look of the game, and I think they definitely delivered on that part. The environments and locations listed on screen are the ones affected by these touch-ups in this update. As you can see, these are only free-to-play areas. Now, since the wilderness was graphically updated before Edgeville, it looked a little bit weird, but with this update, it makes it feel more natural to step over the ditch and walk to the Edgeville bank. This is an update that's going to be a big step towards making RuneScape feel like one RuneScape. Big thumbs up from me. The trend of Jagex doing good things continues with the patch notes. They seem to have fixed the special Slayer task assignment in the wilderness, which will now no longer require blue or green dragons, fire giants, which aren't in the wilderness, gargoyles, and greater demons. These have now been replaced with Acheron mammoths, greater demon ashlords or berserkers, Hydex dragons, ripper demons, and soul gazers. There were some issues with clue scrolls and tetra compasses in the wilderness, which have now been fixed. Killing abyssal lords and savages in the wilderness will only decrease their relevant Slayer task, so the specific one, not the abyssal demon cluster of course, by 1. The greater demon ashlords and berserkers finally have their own drop table in the wilderness. Yep, they didn't have one before, and the special defense effect from greater demons inside the Zamorak in Undercity should have been removed from the greater demons in the wilderness, but it doesn't seem like that is the case. They still have the effect on their bar, and you're still dealing reduced damage. According to Mod Sponge on Reddit, just as I was about to render this video, it seems that this is intended and it should be removed from the patch notes soon. If you haven't done the Daughter of Chaos quest yet, the gameplay as the Moya character has been adjusted for a smoother experience. I'm going to assume that's going to mean that the abilities you have are more responsive to your taps on your keyboard, because, I can't do the quest again. I've already completed it. Issues with damage over time with the Fury and Frenzy ability when bled with the Greater Barge ability have been fixed, and players will no longer be disconnected from the game when looting the Arclacer under certain circumstances. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not sure what those circumstances were, but that must have sucked. There are actually a lot of disconnect-related bugs recently, including one that was fixed according to this news post, where you would unequip your Bow of the Last Guardian while casting Ricochet, and then also disconnect. Now, those were the highlights of this week's news post, so now let's go ahead and cover the drop rate shared for the Zamorak boss last Friday. What you need to know in short is that Zamorak has loot tiers based on your enrage, and it seems that 99% enrage claims were indeed not the best thing to do. Instead, the meta is 50% enrage claims. The reason these are still the best is because it's much faster to do kills at low enrages, and the loot doesn't seem to scale well enough for the high enrages to really warrant doing them, at least not for the effort involved anyway. It's much easier to camp 50% enrage 5-man kills. The news post, which I'll link in the description below, also shares the exact drop rates from story mode all the way up to 3000% enrage. The base rare drop chance you have at 0% enrage or normal mode kill is 1 in 100. Now, once you do get a rare drop, you have different odds within that rare drop of receiving a specific rare drop. Funnily enough, at 0% enrage, you have a higher chance of receiving a bow piece than a piece of Vestments of Havoc armor. The item that is most common at 0% enrage is the Codex of Lost Knowledge at 35% of your rare drops at 0% enrage. Instead of covering the entire table, what it comes down to is the higher your enrage is, the higher chance you have of receiving bow pieces, which are by far the most valuable drop at Zamorak Lord of Chaos. It's also very clear that completing an elite dungeon, so elite dungeon 4 before you get to Zamorak, is a complete waste of time after you've done 25 of those to unlock the skips. The reason this is so clear is because your denominator, so the second number in your chance of receiving a rare drop, is multiplied by 0.75. This means that a 1 in 100 chance at 0% enrage would go down to a 1 in 75 chance. Absolutely not worth the extra effort and time involved in clearing a dungeon to get that multiplier, because you'll be far better off by just farming Zamorak. It becomes becomes an even worse idea to complete the dungeon instead of killing Zamorak if you consider bad luck mitigation, which kicks in after 10 kills without a rare drop. Every time you kill Zamorak and you don't get a rare drop after going 10 kills dry, the denominator of all your drop rates gets decreased by 1 per kill. So let's say you're 20 kills dry and doing 0% enraged claims. This means your odds of getting a rare went from 1 to 100 down to 1 in 90. Do another kill without a drop and that goes down to 1 in 89, and so on. The odds of you getting the pet are slightly different and not related to regular rare drops. The pet has a base drop rate of 1 in 500 or 1 in 300 in solos. Both of these have a threshold of 100 kills. The boss pet threshold system works slightly different to bad luck mitigation, where after reaching the threshold you add a 1 to the numerator instead of the denominator. So after 100 Zamorak kills, your pet chance would go down from 1 in 500 in groups to 2 in 500, effectively giving you a 1 in 250 chance of receiving the pet as a drop. For solos, it would go down to 2 in 300 or 1 in 150 after getting 100 KC. This is unrelated to the news post, but Jagex Anti shared both the classic and remastered versions of the Dragon Scimitar on Twitter, and I thought you might find it interesting. As much as I like the classic, the remastered version actually looks a lot better with the newer cosmetic armor set. Now, in case you didn't notice throughout this video, I've been using a brand new microphone, being a Shure SM7B with a new processor and audio interface, which are all quite expensive, combined that is, and I hope it sounds good or better. No matter if you're a returning or new viewer, please let me know what you think of it down in the comments below, because yeah, I'm kind of unsure of how I feel about it. It kind of sounds better, a little bit warmer, there's less background noise, but I've been listening to myself and watching back my videos using my old microphone for years, so it's alien to me. Really. And for those that actually caught my community post while I was on holiday in New York for about 10 days, I had a blast. I've never actually taken that long of a break from YouTube in a very, very long time. So that was definitely good for me. And perhaps I'll share a few pictures on my Instagram later. With that being said though, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it interesting. If you did, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.